Chapter 1. The Derelict Vessel. This SV Horizon's Edge was a scavenger ship, built for one purpose: to scour the wreckage of dead civilizations and forgotten battles for anything of value. Captain Elias Varrow had spent the last decade drifting through the Outer Rim, picking over the bones of derelict warships and abandoned colonies. Today, however, was different. His ship's long-range scanners had picked up an anomaly, a small metallic object floating in the void, just outside the orbit of a dead gas giant. At first, Elias thought it was just another piece of debris, but the energy signature was all wrong. It wasn't a broken hull fragment or a discarded engine core. It was a chest, a massive, ornate container, covered in strange, swirling engravings that pulsed with a faint blue light. Elias had seen a lot of weird things in his time, but nothing like this. "Jax, bring us in closer," he ordered his first mate, a grizzled ex-mercenary with a cybernetic eye. "You sure about this, Cap?" Jax grunted. "That thing's giving off some weird readings. Could be a trap." Elias smirked. "Since when did you start worrying about traps?" Jax shrugged. "Since the last harmless artifact we picked up tried to melt my face off." Elias ignored him and maneuvered the ship closer. The chest was massive, about the size of a small escape pod, and made of a metal that shimmered like liquid silver. The engravings weren't just decorative. They were some kind of alien script. "All right, let's bring it aboard," Elias said. Using the ship's magnetic grapplers, they hauled the chest into the cargo bay. The moment it touched down, the blue glow intensified, humming with energy. Elias ran a handheld scanner over it. No radiation, no explosives. But there's some kind of stasis field inside. Jax folded his arms. "You gonna open it, or are we just gonna stare at it all day?" Elias took a deep breath and pressed his palm against the surface. The chest clicked. Then, with a hiss of escaping gas, the lid slowly swung open. Cold mist poured out, swirling around their boots. As it cleared, Elias's breath caught in his throat. Inside were 50 frozen women. Not human women. Aliens. Each one was encased in a translucent cryopod, their features perfectly preserved. They were tall, with luminous, opalescent skin, delicate pointed ears, and long flowing hair in shades of silver, blue, and violet. Their bodies were clad in intricate, form-fitting armor that looked both ceremonial and functional. Jax whistled. "Well, Cap, I think we just hit the jackpot." Elias stepped closer, examining the nearest pod. A small control panel was embedded in the side, displaying alien symbols. He tapped it experimentally. The pod activated. With a soft chime, the glass-like casing retracted, and the woman inside took a deep, shuddering breath. Her eyes, glowing like twin stars, snapped open. And then she screamed. Chapter 2. The Awakening. The alien woman lashed out, striking Elias across the face with surprising strength. He stumbled back, barely avoiding a second blow. "Whoa! Easy!" he shouted, raising his hands. "We're not here to hurt you." She didn't understand him. Her eyes darted around the cargo bay, wild with panic, before settling on Jax. She hissed something in a language that sounded like flowing water and crackling energy. Jax raised his hands. "Yeah, no idea what you're saying, lady." Elias slowly reached for the universal translator on his belt. It was an old patchwork device, but it had gotten him out of trouble before. He activated it and held it up. "Can you understand me now?" he asked. The alien woman froze. Her eyes narrowed as the translator processed his words and converted them into her language. After a tense moment, she spoke again. This time, the translator rendered her words in a soft, melodic voice. Where is the eternal fleet? Elias blinked. The what? Her expression darkened. You are not of the Il-Sheri. You are human. She said the word like it was a curse. Yeah, and you're in my cargo bay, Elias shot back. Mind telling me who you are and why you were stuffed in a treasure chest? The woman hesitated, then straightened. I am Lysara, first blade of the Il-Sheri matriarchy. These are my sisters, warrior brides of the eternal fleet. We were placed in stasis to survive the Great Purge. Jax frowned. Purge? What purge? Lysara's eyes flashed with anger and sorrow. The Vorax came. They burned our worlds, slaughtered our people. The matriarch ordered us into stasis, hidden within this vault, so that we might one day awaken and reclaim our home. Elias exchanged a glance with Jax. This was way above their pay grade. So, you're what? Refugees? Elias asked. Lysara's jaw tightened. We are the last of our kind. And now, we are in the hands of scavengers. Elias sighed. Look, we didn't sign up for this, but we're not gonna leave you floating in space. We'll help you figure things out. Lysara studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Very well, human. But know this, if you betray us, I will cut out your heart. Jack smirked. Feisty. I like her. Elias rubbed his temples. This is gonna be a long trip. Chapter 3. The Vorax Hunt. Over the next few days, Elias and his crew worked to awaken the rest of the Il-Sheri brides. Each one was a warrior, trained in combat and strategy. They were also fiercely loyal to Lysara. The problem? The Vorax were still out there. According to Lysara, the Vorax were a brutal, expansionist empire that had wiped out dozens of species. And now, they had detected the activation of the stasis chest. They are coming, Lysara warned one evening, standing over the ship's navigation console. We must flee. Elias shook his head. We're not equipped for a fight. Our ship's barely holding together as it is. Lysara's eyes burned with determination. Then we find weapons. Elias. We fight back. Jax chuckled. You've got spirit, I'll give you that. But we're not exactly an army. Lysara turned to Elias. You saved us. Now, help us finish what we started. Elias exhaled sharply. He had spent his whole life running from trouble. But looking into Lysara's eyes, he realized, this was worth fighting for. All right, he said. But we do this my way. Chapter 4. The Final Stand. They didn't have much time. The Vorax warship appeared on the edge of the system, a monstrous, jagged vessel bristling with weapons. The horizon's edge was fast, but it wouldn't outrun them. Evasive maneuvers. Elias barked. The ship lurched as plasma fire streaked past them. The Il-Sheri warriors, now armed with scavenged weapons, prepared for battle. Lysara stood beside Elias, her blade glowing with energy. We will board their ship. Elias stared at her. That's suicide. He smirked. For them. Before he could argue, she and her sisters launched themselves toward the enemy vessel, using small thrusters to cross the gap. What followed was carnage. The Il-Sheri moved like ghosts, cutting through Vorax soldiers with terrifying precision. Lysara fought at the forefront, her blade a blur of death. Elias and Jax followed, providing covering fire. Then, disaster. A Vorax plasma cannon locked onto the horizon's edge. Brace! Elias screamed. The blast tore through the ship's hull. Alarms wailed. They were going down. Chapter 5. A New Dawn. Elias woke up in a medbay, his body aching. Lysara stood over him, her armor scorched but her expression triumphant. We won, she said simply.